Hello everyone. So, with respect to some of the sessions, we are here and I am presenting a small presentation for you all, giving an introduction to computer communication networks. So, we all know that everybody of us together sitting in front of a computer right now watching towards a video that I'm presenting, and you all know that it is communicated through internet, of course. But how it is getting the data from some place, somewhere I'm sitting and somewhere you are sitting, and you're watching the video from which is that I'm trying to present you for all. And that means that there is something that is going on there. We have a big thing that every small networks are getting connected towards one center core wherein things are exchanged. So every information that I'm trying to transmit from one point is reaching another point, sometimes broadcasted or something like that. So to introduce you all that how a communication network is working, what all the things that are there inside that. So I have this presentation for you all. So always act like you are wearing an invisible crown, because everything that we have here in the network is invisible for us. Nothing is looks to be something that is going on or something like that, but still things are going on there. And so let us start with this. So whenever we speak about a network, we do have two things. One is called as OSI layer, which was a very newly implemented layer, which was mostly utilized by most of the companies for their implementation purpose. Later on, before that, we had TCP/IP protocol architecture layers, which had some of the restricted amount of operations with respect to that of programming and utilization and all. Later, with respect to different applications and their usages and all, there was a change that brought up and the OSI layer was given. So initially speaking about this TCP layer, TCP layer has got only 5 layers here. Um, Starting with application layer, which is the layer in which you will have different applications working for different purposes. Programming, you do that Java scripting, GUI and all, so they all come up in application layer. Any data that is initiated from one layer is actually created at the application layer. Later we have a transport layer. So the transport layer is the layer which actually controls the motion of data packets between 2 points. So it tells when to transmit and when to receive something, and acknowledging something that is we have received, and providing some exchange of information like handshaking, so initiating a connection between 2 points. So all these things are handled by the transport layer. So these two things, that is application layer operation and the transport layer operation, both seems to be exactly same when you compare both, that is OSI model or TCP layer protocol model. And let me come back to this presentation and session layers later, but I'll just proceed with the next layer, that is the network layer. Here it is said to be internet layer, and internet network interface layer we have separately here. But when I divide this TCP layer into 5 proper layers, I can just divide these two also into exactly the same 3 layers that we have as on OSI layer, that is network layer, data link layer and physical layer, wherein the network layer is the layer which is the layer which takes the decision of connecting a network, choosing a path how to deliver a packet from one point to another point, that is maintained by the network layer. And data link layer, which will worry about preparation of data, like preparation of frames, calculating the depending on the window size, making a packet of information that is reliable for transmission over any network that you have chosen. All these things that comes in data link layer. And physical layer, that you all know that whatever the Ethernet cable connectivity, you get it for communication. And other than that one, Wi-Fi, nowadays we all go for wireless communication, or any cable network or wireless communication that is happening, or interfaces or modules that we use. So those things come up in physical layer, which has got a MAC address also. So physical address also is given for that layer. And other than that one, in network layer will actually speak about internet protocol, IP address and all. So this is the basic of TCP layers and protocol. So our session will be including of all these things. What do you mean by an internet? What is a protocol that will be used in the internet? and how many different type of networks edges that we have. That means the person will be initiating from one point and you'll be getting back something from another point. So we have two different edges, of course, happening there. So those things that we call it as host, access networks, physical medium that we have for the communication. And inside the network core, we will have different type of switching networks. That means that there is a data that has to be transmitted from one point to another point. Means that we do have someone who is sitting in between, giving us feeding us data from one point to one channel to another channel. So we have it for packet switching or circuit switching, two different technologies. And we have got some examples also over which we can study. And how an internet is structured, we will look into that also. And performances, what all the performance parameters or specifications that we have to look in whenever we choose a network. There will be losses that will be happening when a data packet is transmitted from one point to another point, and we have to look into it, and we have to reduce the number of loss. Delay, most preferably we will not entertain any delay. Nowadays we do want to have some very fast internet, and any data transmission that we want to be done at very high speed. So delay needs to be reduced. Throughput must be very good, so there should not be any inefficiency in the network. Security, mostly this is one of the very important thing when we speak about internet, because we all keep our personal and very delicate information over internet. So security is quite more important. I am not ready to lose my data to anyone else. So if security is quite high, number of users over the network will be increased. Protocol layers, many different layers, as I explained. I have tell you all about what all the different layers and what are the services provided by each and every individual layers. And we will also quite try to look into something called as a history of internet, how is the internet started and how it is working right now and all. So hope you have looked into the brief of whatever the session that I'll be taking up now on. And this is what we will be looking into in the future sessions. uh, Please be tuned into the same channel, and you can subscribe, and you can just have continuous look over this. Hope I'll be just giving you the more and more information about whatever that the new topic that I have got, and hope you all are enjoying my session. Thank you so much. ಹಿಂಗೆ
ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ದೆ.